Hello! That was cool. I think I failed that really badly. Hello, everyone. I was actually grabbing my question of the week box. I forgot where it was. It was
That's
over
right. Forgot
in the
about
corner. I got my question of the week box. If you want to tweet me, hashtag, what is it, STiKS, QOTW, question of the
that.
week.
Or you could just tweet hashtag the STiKS, because not enough people use that either.
Thanks. But if you guys want to, I'll put your question in the question of the week. We will answer it, so on and so forth. I'm sorry, my stream is really behind. This is annoying. Okay, there we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the STiKS Live. We are live, and we're ready to go. I tweeted out a GIF, which I was really happy about, and it's been a pretty productive day. So how have your guys' days gone so far? And this isn't how you normally start off the show, but how is Europe? And how is Minnesota going for you all?
How was Europe and how was Minnesota? Minnesota's doing pretty good, don't you know, over here. It's sunny outside, so we haven't got our first snowfall yet of the season. But I had 3 phone calls this morning, and they went pretty good. So I was actually...
Who did you call? Who were you talking to?
I was talking to Kingdom Soldier.
Yes.
You
were... Can we just explain this real quick?
Yeah.
Me and Goalie were in a call, like, for a good, like, I'd say 3 hours, of which about 1.5 hours Goalie was AFK.
Yeah, I was on the phone
I
with
genuinely
people.
thought he'd been kidnapped or something.
Well,
Like, you just didn't return, and then out of nowhere when I was editing, you just came back and was like, oh, hi.
I'm
I was
sorry,
like, oh.
but apparently I'm popular, Tommy. I know you haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay. Ego
What?
alert. Here you go.
Goalie literally walks outside in Minnesota, and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, Matthew, hey,
Hey,
Goalie."
hey, Matthew.
Yeah,
hey,
Hey,
Matt.
Matt.
How's
What's up, Matt?
Copia? Oh, yeah, Matt.
What's up,
Awesome, Matt.
Matthew? People call you Matthew, or they call you Matt?
Both.
As I call you Goalie.
Yeah.
I call you Goal. I think that's just like a short.
Mm-hmm.
I call you Goal. I call Tommy Tom. I think I have a nickname for just about anyone, everyone, so on and so forth. So
Okay.
should we give our? I know we kind of switched it up the last couple of weeks. Should we give an intro for us?
Well,
or should
we gotta
just...
let Tommy know how it's going over in great old England over
Oh,
there.
that's right. I forgot. You guys were throwing shots at each other, like, but basically,
We
like
always
between the
throw shots
differences
at each other.
between the NA and Europe.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff.
have friendly banter, I like to call it.
Friendly banter. So how's Europe going? Is it good? What time is it?
Europe's going good. The time is currently 10:02. So yeah,
It's a good time.
I finished my day pretty much. This is kind of my relaxation just before I go to bed. And yeah, day's been good, thanks. I had a presentation today for that was
Ooh.
20% towards one of my modules in my final year. Went really well. I got a video edited, rendered, and uploaded. I did my food shop, as you both know.
Okay, can we say this really quickly?
We need to clarify this.
Okay, if anyone in the
Okay.
chat, if
I'm
anyone on
cool,
YouTube is from Europe, if you're from foreign land,
But
do
let me
you?
No, let me explain my. It's
No.
my
We're
what
asking
it's
this.
about?
We're asking this
No, but
question.
you're going to explain it correctly, right?
I want to explain.
No,
it so that
we're
we know what
explaining
we're
it so that everyone in
No,
our.
I give you the description, right? In UK, it is perfectly normal to get a Tesco delivery. Anyone from the UK, if you're in the chat,
It's not-
you know this, okay? Let me know, because these two are delusional in thinking that you can't get food and whatever
Okay,
delivered to
guys,
your door.
do you go
That's
food
not at all
shopping
what
or
we're
do you
talking
go
about.
grocery shopping? Let us
no.
know in the comments below.
That's just,
It's-
are
it's-
you
no,
American
listen.
or are you UK? That's basically
Let me
just
be the
saying
division.
that.
Let me be the division. Okay. So we're not arguing, Tommy, about whether people order their food online. I know people who do that all the time. We're arguing about whether it's called food shopping, or grocery shopping. Is what we're arguing about. The name of what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you order it online. I know people who do that like everywhere. But if anyone's from Europe, do you call it food shopping, or do you just call it like what we do it, or like what
They
we call
don't
it, like
call
supermarket?
it groceries. 100%.
grocery.
Supermarket shopping's normal as well, yeah. They don't call it grocery shopping. Well,
Okay, yeah, okay. So everyone's saying like, oh yeah, Tommy's right because you said the wrong thing. Europe is not a country. I know. I know
Yes,
it's not.
Europe's not a
I know it's
country.
thank you. Whoever that was in the chat.
That
I
was
can't remember
Dan.
who it was.
I know, but
Mine
they're
is
agreeing
false.
to the fact that you ordering food online isn't weird. I think that's what they're. That's what they're.
Shut up. I'm right. You're just trying to turn it just because I'm right.
Let
Let me have my moment of
I was the
pride.
person who was in between, saying either one. I wasn't the person. I was trying to get the fact across what we were arguing about.
I love
which
how
are
someone in the chat
different.
said Europe isn't a country. It's
Damn.
it's always America versus Europe. It's never like North America versus Europe or America versus UK.
Well, because I mean, more people might do it differently. Food shopping, it is a thing. Okay, it just sounded weird. I agree. It sounds weird. No offense.
It's
it sounds
grocery
weird
shopping.
to Americans. Sounds weird to us.
Mhm.
So glad we have
It's
that.
just
out of the
shopping.
way.
Yeah, I would honestly agree to that. It's just shopping. You know, it's just.
Okay, can we move on?
Yeah,
from
I'm
our-
really glad that we got this out of the way. I'm glad we dealt with this and we're ready to go. So should we do intros? Does it really matter?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Real quick.
Tommy, who are you?
I'm just about to drink. My name is Tommy Esports. I do YouTube content on the YouTubes, as I just said, YouTube content. Yes, YouTube. You can also find content that I do for Excel. Yes, I represent Excel. I'd really appreciate if you can go over and follow them and subscribe to them. Bit of a shameless plug, but there's really awesome stuff coming on the way with them. And yeah, I'm happy to be here talking about Call of Duty with two of my good pals.
Am I one of them?
Yes. Well, there's only two other people in the Skype call, so
It's Kingdom.
That they know of. There could be other people here. We don't know.
Or Kingdom. He's talking about Kingdom.
No.
Kingdom always like lurks in our calls. No,
yeah,
he
that's
doesn't.
true actually.
So it's not one of us on screen.
And I'm
Good
drinking
boy.
lemon juice today. You'll be pleased to know.
You're drinking lemon juice. Why can't you just be a normal person and drink like lemonade or something? Who?
Isn't the same thing
Right.
to them?
Right, let me clarify this. Lemonade over here is fizzy.
What?
Lemon juice is just lemon
Soda?
squash with soda or water.
Lemonade is it's like carbonated.
I think their lemonade is basically like Sprite for us, like equivalent.
Yeah, exactly that. Landon's got it. Right, anyway, move on. Sorry, I kind of went on a bit of a tangent.
Okay.
Go goalie. Who are you, goalie? If I was to ask you, goalie, who are you? What would you say to me? What would you say?
The king of esportspedia.
That's who I am, Landon.
He doesn't even need to answer. He gets. to
I don't
answer
know.
for-
I'm the guy behind the scenes. My name's Goalie. I don't know why I'm on the show. I say this every week whenever I'm on the show. I'm head of COD Esportspedia. I do stuff behind the scenes here at the STiKS. Hopefully, I can do better content here at the STiKS sooner. We're working on some stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Exciting.
There we go. I honestly kind of spaced out during your intro. I apologize.
I have no idea what I did either. Like, I just pushed my chair away from my blue screen. Like,
So
yeah.
people are arguing in the chat currently. No, not trying to get off of Goalie's thing, but people are arguing whether it's called lemonade or whether it's not. People are saying it's fizzy.
Started a bit of a debate.
We just
but
started
yeah.
a war. We just started a chat war. YouTube comments, feel free to war as well. If someone is to ask me who am I? My name is Landon. That's really about it. I make YouTube videos. I just actually hit 3,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for all those who have subscribed. Really
Hey.
appreciate it.
Round of applause for Landon.
Thanks,
Good job.
guys.
GG, dude. You've
Dang
been
it,
grinding.
he hit 3K subs on YouTube before the STiKS did. That okay? You're banned.
What if I hit 3K subs before the stick?
That's not
Should it
happening.
be a
You're
race?
European.
Oh, thanks. That's not happening. Well, I'm gonna be leaving.
How does it matter if
Where
he's
my door
European or
is.
not? Why are we
It's
having
like,
racism?
You're
in
European.
the
It's
chat?
not gonna happen.
This isn't
Bro,
good.
I'm gonna keep you to this. I'm gonna grind my ass off just to beat the sticks. I'm gonna just
I don't like the way you phrased that. I'm just gonna put that.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're gonna do now, after that kind of weird intro, because we don't really know what to do for the intro anymore. People say they like it, people say they don't like it. Whatever.
We'll
Either
figure
way.
it out next week.
We'll figure it out next week. I probably won't be here next week either way. But Black Ops 3 comes out next week, and I won't be there. For those who may not know, I'll probably
fault.
mention it in a video. It's not my fault. 'cause I didn't
No,
make
it's
the
your
dates.
fault.
If I would have known about the dates, I
How
would
is
have
it not
definitely
your fault?
switched them up. Because I didn't make the dates. I didn't schedule it. It's not
Yeah,
my
but
fault.
you know, like when Black Ops is gonna come out or Call of Duty in general, it's always gonna come out the first week of November.
Yep.
Always.
But
Always.
I
It's
didn't
always
know the
been the
exact.
first Tuesday of November up until now.
Let's just say that I wasn't notified of us going on a trip until after they already scheduled it. That's what I will say.
And why would your parents do that to you?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind the happy surprise.
They
about
obviously
going
don't
on a
support
trip.
you in your career like my parents and
Wow.
goalies.
So basically, the game comes out on
Tommy.
Friday, which is kind of weird. They normally announce it on Tuesday.
Yeah, it comes out.
Game comes out on Friday. I leave Saturday afternoon.
Rip.
All right.
It's all right.
so-
We've already got your replacement. Don't worry about it.
I know.
we got you covered, bud.
So I won't be here next week. Most likely, they're trying to convince me to do it from like the hotel or something, which I don't think is going to work out very well. But we might have. Actually, I'm just going to say it right now. We might have Mike on from Deserto. The reason I'm giving him a shout out is because he shouted me out on his show as well, the Deserto Cast.
British takeover.
Yeah,
British
it's
takeover,
gonna be the
so-
STiKS EU all over again, and it's gonna
Fizzy
be
gang.
extremely detrimental.
You know how that ended?
People are saying fizzy gang in the chat. I'm not really sure what that means, but
PC gang. Oh my god,
It's
there's
kinda
actually
weird.
sides to this.
all right. It is now time. I wish we need to have sound effects for this next time. Sound effects. I probably should show that.
Sorry, YouTube viewers and headphone viewers.
So this is a random question of the week coming from people who tweet me on Twitter or tweet at the STiKS Live. I'm sure there's a link somewhere. I think there's a link below us where it has our Twitter. And you guys want to tweet at that, we'll add your question of the week into this box, and I will pick out a question every week at the beginning of the show. So I'm going to randomly draw. You guys tell me when to stop.
Stop.
I was gonna let him go.
Yeah, we should have walked up and got like a cup of tea.
Yeah, I was gonna
Alright,
go get into more G Fuel.
That's what British. Yeah.
This is a pretty big question. This question is... Oh, this is interesting.
Oh.
This is, who is your favorite sports team can also be counted as esports. So, favorite team in general. You could maybe say your regular sports, then say esports if you want. I mean, you can rephrase it however you want to. That's coming from Mike. Thank you, Mike. I, for some reason, didn't. It's not Deserto, Mike. It's some person on Twitter. I didn't add your name to it. I apologize. But
Wow.
there you go. So, throw it away. Actually, I should probably wait so I can look at it. Does anyone want to go first? Your favorite team can also be involved with esports. Chat and on YouTube comments. I actually made that time.
Good job.
For those who are curious, feel free to let us know in the YouTube comments as well as in the chat. Who is your favorite sports team, esports included, or both? Doesn't matter. Anyone like to go first? Because I have to actually think of mine now that I've actually
I
asked
don't
the question.
because
I'll take the sacrifice for the team. So
Okay.
favorite team in terms of esports, I kind of have to go for XL. If I don't, it's a bit wrong. But I'll more
true.
than happily
You'll be fine.
because well, no, well, I wouldn't.
I'm
because-
kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, because like know this is gonna sound biased, but the dudes and everyone at the org are like genuine, like awesome dudes. It's like a family. It's anything like you could wish for of being part and affiliated of an organization. Outside of esports, though, that's a tricky one because I follow a lot of sports, hence why I'm doing a sport degree. I don't know.
Who's your favorite football club?
Oh God. So stereotypical. In the Premiership, what's the top division? I don't really follow anyone. I watch it and everything, and I enjoy good football in general, but I don't actually follow a particular team. But locally to me, I support Cambridge and Peterborough, who are kind of my local teams. So
Very
yeah,
good.
I guess I choose them.
Nice. Any esports teams? Oh, you
he
said
said
XL.
XL.
My bad. I forgot.
Yeah.
I apologize. So we'll just do that. We'll say your favorite regular sports team and then esports team. Preferably one, but you can do two if you want to. So that's up to you. So Tommy said XL, and then he said some random teams that are near him. I'm sorry, I forgot it. What was it again, Tommy? You said
So for football, it was Peterborough and Cambridge United, and then XL for esports.
okay.
any other teams? Any other sports?
I mean, I support like loads of other teams, but I could be here for a while.
All right, well, she's the one that matter, apparently. All right, I'm just messing with you. All right, Goalie, do you have your favorite sports teams?
Okay, so this is kind of hard for me, because I don't watch sports anymore, at all. I don't have cable.
What do you say?
Or-
hockey? I
So,
know Goalie
like,
likes hockey.
if I had to pick a team, I would just pick the Wild because they're from Minnesota. But yeah, I don't pay attention to sports at all anymore. And when it comes to esports, I like too many teams. I don't know. I fell in love with Origin during Worlds. I'm a huge fan of all Cloud9 teams. A huge fan of Team Envious. Gamers 2. There we go. G2 Esports. Yeah, 100.
Really?
Yep, G2 Esports.
Interesting. They lost to what, Envy yesterday in DreamHack.
hmm I don't know what it is. I love their branding though. So
Like their brand.
You've always been like, yeah. I've just only realized that you've always been kind of, you always talk about them and hint them, and yeah, I can see that. Landon, that leaves you.
So I watch a lot of sports, not just esports, but regular sports as well. I watch basketball and football primarily. So for basketball, like NBA is what I'm saying. Not like I guess I could say like college. Like I obviously support colleges near me, the colleges I go to and stuff like that. But I'm gonna say like my favorite basketball teams, like NBA, would either be between the Heat and the Clippers. I love the Clippers, everyone on the team, and I've loved the Heat since like forever ago. So I've just been enjoying watching them, even though they aren't very good. As far as football, Rams and Browns. Rams because they live near me, St. Louis. I'm like an hour away from there. And Browns because no one else likes the Browns. I was like a couple years ago, I was like, you know what, I'm going to support the Browns because no one else does that I know of. I think a couple people on Twitter do, but those are my favorite sports teams. As far as like esports go, you know, like Call of Duty wise, I always support like OG and Envy. I just like the two big brands. I like FaZe a lot as well. Like it's very hard for me to choose in Call of Duty because I like players more than just like actual brands. If that makes any sense. But if there was like another team outside of COD, I'd probably say like C9 or something like that. I like C9, TSM, stuff like that. I mean, I'm not like a major supporter, but you know, that's just how it gotta go. So, if you guys want to though, make sure to comment on YouTube. Like I said, feel free to you know, post your guys' thoughts to that question. And thank you, Mike, for asking it. Really quickly, Goalie, what happened to TK? You used to like TK. I saw Dan put in the chat while I look up our next topic. Why no longer TK, man? Why no longer?
Gave up.
Gave up?
I gave up.
We're gonna have Neslo on the show and have to talk to you.
I gave up. Like I would still support them, but I don't know, man. Roster has changed, like between the same people too many times. They haven't shown results. I don't know. I just can't anymore.
You're just not for the grind.
Yeah, you're not in it for the long haul, man.
You're a glory supporter.
I supported them. I supported them for 2.5 years. I'm just done. Well, what was with camera? Please? What was that? Okay.
What happened to you?
I just your camera just like slapped you like hypothetically around the face.
My camera was
Don't
like,
give up.
you better support TK or else.
I love TK, otherwise I'm not gonna work for you.
Mm-hmm.
I own you.
I'm looking at your guys' choices in the
chat
right now. I'm just looking through them. People are just talking about the Colorado Avalanche. Dan posted that. People are saying Envy, Optic Nation, I know people. I'm gonna get hate for the Browns, but I like them because no one else does. That's what I'm just saying. I'm saying Envy.
So in other words, you feel sorry for them.
Yeah, I literally feel bad for them because no one else does. Tampa Bay, okay.
Well, how could you support them when you look at their logo?
Is it
it's a football helmet.
Is it Tampa Bay Rays?
Tampa
in Florida.
Wait, for what sport? There's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Baseball. For baseball.
That's the. I have no clue. There is a team called the Rays, isn't there?
Yeah, it's Tampa Bay Rays for baseball. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I went and saw them play the Boston Red Sox when I was in Florida in 2011, I think. Yeah, I think so. Fun story, if anyone wanted to know.
Interesting. And then I think it's football. It's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think. Is that right? I think. So. Actually, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check really quick.
Oh God, we're just.
Yeah, I'm right. I want to make sure because like I have to literally double check everything I say because it's like a lot more intense if you just happen to say something wrong. So. There we go. All right, that was a really long intro for us, but either way, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Whether it's RosterMania, you know, everything that's happened, and we'll talk about why it's happening, why we think it's dumb, because I know all of us think it's dumb. Some things that are going on. We're talking about Paris Games Week. Did you watch the stream? Probably. If you didn't, well, we got you covered. We're gonna talk about everything that happened. Have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and so on and so forth. So I'm just gonna kind of read in a list the RosterMania that has gone down. And I want you guys to literally add in whenever, because I feel like I'll just be talking about stuff for like a long period of time. Like I'll just list stats, or
we can't break. We can just go.
What is with my camera?
I know, it looks like
it has gone. It was like flashed like 3 times, 4 times.
Oh, it did again.
Camera.
Is it like storming where you are and your power? Well, actually, that would make sense.
It's a sunny day. Like. I guess it has to be snowing in Minnesota for it to be okay.
I'm sorry, I was singing for a second. So by the way, reading these rosters off, just literally add in, just like talk and say you didn't agree with that, so on and so forth. So where we left off last episode, we obviously had the STiKS awards. We gave a bunch of awards away. If you guys want to check out the STiKS Live Twitter, you guys will see all of the candidates, people who won as well. Pretty fun show. Honestly, really enjoyed it. Had Fox, Tommy, and Kingdom on along with myself. It was a fantastic time. I suggest you go watch it on the STiKS YouTube. I'm just shouting out all our social media. It's fantastic. I don't have to wait till the end. So I'm going to read you guys off the roster changes in the order of what we're basically where we left off. So What happened? And we'll go in order. Epsilon, Parasite decides to leave. According to what Goalie has said to me, is that Parasite said that he was considering leaving. Then Epsilon was like, okay, just go ahead and leave. You told me that. You told me that. You said...
I did not. I did not tell you that.
I could have swore you told me that.
That was not me.
Because I wrote down really Goalie next to Epsilon in part of that.
That was not me.
I could have swore you said that to me.
We haven't talked about roster changes at all, actually.
Yes, we have. I was in a call whenever like everything was going down, like Octane went to Rise.
No, we weren't in a call then.
Yes, we were.
No, we weren't.
You're drunk. All right. Epsilon, Parasite leaves. That left Epsilon looking for 3. TK released Apathy, Censor Apathy, and Saints. Form a squad, and now they're looking for an organization. See, I'm reading this with like such distaste because it's not just one thing. Like, the amount of things that actually happen, it's just like nothing's really that exciting. MV, they released Gunjar and Looney, pick up Aches, Slasher, and JCap. We'll be getting to how that team will work out because they're actually looking for a 4th and they're testing out a couple players as well. First thoughts on MV. Happy with this team. I know we don't know how Black Ops 3 is going to work out, but the pickup of Aches and Slasher along with JCap. Your thoughts? You guys like that idea? You guys like the thought of these team being together? Because I know there's been a lot of conflict with Aches and JCap in the past. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on the new team, the new EOD squad, or EOD, the NBA Die squad.
Well,
yeah, sure.
I know that Aches and Slasher seem to really get along at the beginning of AW, so I'm looking to see how that goes again. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of... some people hate the idea of Aches being on Envy. I don't know. I think it's a good place for him. He's such a storied Call of Duty player, being on a team that's been in the scene for so long. It just kind of feels right to me. I know a lot of people don't like it, but
I know what you mean.
I'm cool with it. So.
You're good with it?
Yep.
Tommy, your thoughts? New Envious squad. You think it's going to be a good team? Well, I know they only have 3 players, but the 3 that
I was gonna say we don't currently know what's happening with Jerd, but I think if they can get Jerd, that's just one hell of a team. I mean,
I'm like 95% sure they're not gonna have Jerd.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they're trying out Merc and another player, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, because I think I watched Merc's video where he talked about how like obviously first choice he'd want to go onto Envy, but if it doesn't work out, like he was gonna try elsewhere. But well. Me personally, I think Envy are better off with Jerd than Merc. Obviously, debatable because of Merc's success throughout Call of Duty in general. But
right,
yeah, I like that Slasher and Aches are back together. I think, like Goalie said, they definitely seem to get along. Definitely didn't seem to kind of butt heads at all.
I think they butt heads at the end, but at the beginning of AW, they were a really.
They were a force.
Yeah, they were a really good team.
Yeah, but it's like any team really. When you're winning, it's all good, but when you're losing, so we'll see. But with JCap as well, I think that's kind of the question mark for me. I know he won COD Champs, don't get me wrong, but he's been a little fluctuating, I guess I'm gonna say.
It's not like this isn't like JCap's best. I mean, Advanced Warfare was his best title. I mean,
I'm not saying he's a god awful player by any means because he's got an amazing record. You see,
no, it's just funny. I know it's just funny the way you said it. I liked it.
Okay, well, yeah. I hope he is back to kind of how he was in Black Ops 2, where he was, and even Black Ops 1, when he was considered pretty much the best player in the game. Because he's definitely got the capability. As for a lot of players, like even Aches, Advanced Warfare was so fast-paced, so jetpacky, that it just didn't suit a lot of players, and that's just the reality of having to change games every year.
It is. It'll be very interesting to see how players kind of progress from AW, which was extremely different, and then to Black Ops 3, which is kind of in the middle. I think we can kind of agree. Like, it's kind of in between Advanced Warfare and other titles in the past, and you're on the ground, but you're not as like jetpacky as obviously Advanced Warfare was. But next team that we're gonna be talking about besides Envy, one of my favorite probably rosters heading into Black Ops 3 is going to be Rise Nation. So they actually picked up, for those who don't know, Slacked and Octane, who were previously coming from Elevate. They got Classic from Denial, and they actually added Looney, who was dropped from Envy. Really surprising, I gotta say. Was not at all projecting Looney to be dropped from Envy, and Rise Nation actually snatches him back up. He's basically back on the org, which is kind of where he got known at for the most part. I think Looney kind of grew his brand, grew himself. It was known as a really good player whenever he was on this Rise Nation squad. So in my opinion, I don't know about your guys' thoughts, this is looking like a very talented squad based on previous titles. I want to get that through to everyone's head. We don't know who is going to be good at Black Ops 3 and who is not.
Yeah.
I know we can argue about that and say like the same thing over and over again, but things have to happen, and organizations have made a lot of changes. But your guys' thoughts on Rise Nation? You guys think they have a good roster at all? Because I personally am a major fan of this team right now. I gotta say,
if there was another Advanced Warfare event, this team would be a top 4 team.
Yeah, I agree. I think generally, I know we can't obviously predict who's going to be the top. Well, what teams are going to be the top in in Black Ops 3, not Advanced Warfare, and which players are going to shine, etc. But I definitely think, just generally speaking, across Call of Duties and the players they've got on this roster, I definitely think it's an improvement on the old Rise roster. I'll say that much. I mean, yeah, but there's no knowing how they're going to perform. And at the end of the day, the way kind of Call of Duty goes, the chances are they're all going to kind of make probably more roster changes depending on how they go with practicing and scrims, because at the end of the day they want to get it right for the COD League. Like, it's literally make or break for a lot of teams that are kind of on that border of that, maybe top 8 to 16 teams, because there's a lot of uncertainty. So at the end of the day, I think although we've seen a lot of roster changes now, when Black Ops 3 does drop and give it due course, and if there is an event before the qualifiers, that's kind of when we'll really see what teams make what changes, because as I said, like, teams are gonna want to have the best possible roster going into them qualifications, because it's so vital and imperative that they get into the COD League.
And I know like you mentioned, I know it's going to be interesting to see, like, if we do have any events before that actual qualifier, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which Paris Games Week basically gave us a ton of information about the World League, which we'll get to in a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And honestly, I saw someone posted in the chat, and I was actually completely agree with it. There isn't necessarily a major leader on this team in a way. Like, they're not that they're all young guys in a way, but there's not one person, for instance, if they start arguing, who I see getting involved and saying, hey guys, calm down, like, we need to focus up. Like, I just don't see. I mean, Octane's mostly a quiet guy. I don't know too much about Classic. Slacked isn't really a major leader in a way. I mean, he's a younger guy. He doesn't really have a whole lot of. I mean, he's been playing for a while. He's a veteran in the scene, but he's not known as like a leader in a way. And Looney, could be considered that. I know for Envy, he was kind of that way with JCap. So I'm honestly not sure this team's going to work out chemistry-wise. I think if they get along well together, they could be a good team. But like I said, we don't know how Black Ops 3 is going to work out. These guys could be all amazing at Black Ops 3. Some of them could be good. Some of them could be bad, or they could all be bad. We don't really know for sure. Based on previous titles, everyone will be swapping around in some way. We have no idea. But that's going to do it for Rise Nation. Next team we have is going to be E6. For those who don't know, they actually had Silly and Dido added to their team, previously coming from Isolation Empire. They're actually going to have 2 teams, one Enigma 6 Pro, and their under 18 team, which is consisting of some, like, literally gods. They have Hook, Temp, TJ, and General. That's gonna be
it's a good roster.
That's a good team right there. That's a good team.
That pause, I think, was needed just to kind of bring, like, I think the saddening factor is if these guys carry on how they've done in Advanced Warfare, this team is gonna probably be better than not the majority, but a good few teams in the Pro Division for the COD League. I think that's a reality that we all pretty much know already out of kind of how they perform this year. So it'll be interesting to see how they do at open events, and if all, because I mean, we still don't know what's happening with open events, with MLG seeming to go back down the pro circuit route, with UMG and various other tournament organizers that have come into the scene during Advanced Warfare. We're still a bit uncertain as to whether open events are going to be 18+. If they're not, though, I would definitely look out for this team, because you can guarantee that they're going to cause a lot of upsets.
Right, we haven't heard like a confirmed word yet saying that it will be. It most likely will be, but like Tommy said, we don't know 100% yet. And if it is, which it most likely will be, this is a team definitely to watch out for. We don't know how pro points are going to work, or if there even are pro points. In some way, like, if there's going to be any rewards for like World League teams and open events and stuff like that. We don't know how that's going to work. But either way, if this team's in pool play, or if this team's in regular bracket play, this team is going to look. This team is scary. This team is actually like makes me scared. Like, watching them on E6 is going to be fantastic. But the main team, obviously, it literally does. Seeing Hook, Temp, and TJ together, along with General, who's a fantastic player in his own regard, is going to be insane to see. Ow, hit my arm. But either way, our main team that we're going to talk about, though, is their pro team. They're currently looking for one, but along with Silly and Dido, which we mentioned, they actually added Burns Off to the team, which I was kind of surprised about. Don't really, like, correlate these players together. Like in some ways, when I think of rosters,
I haven't ever really thought about these players teaming together, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
It was kind of odd. I gotta say, it was a little bit weird. Like, it's not like, by no means am I hating on E6, but it just, when you think of players teaming together, Burns just never clicked on my mind to go to E6 along with these guys. Like, I don't know how it could work out. I mean, he's a very good, kind of objective-minded. He really does everything around in the game. He's kind of like a, he's going to do everything for you. He's SMG as well. So we'll see how that works out for E6. They got some good lineups so far. And we'll kind of move on forward and see who they pick up. Maybe they'll have a pickup for next week.
I can see it working well, because if you just allow Dito and Silly to slay, from what I remember, Silly's a slayer, right? Or a support player, at least. Like,
like the thing with E6, or not E6, excuse me, well, was with ISO, it was like all of them would play a different role. Like for instance, like Dito was a main slayer, but like in some ways, like they all played everything. Like it's kind of weird. Like for different maps, they had different strategies. It's hard to explain, but like for instance, like Silly would be really good in search. He'd have the sniper out. Like they could all do everything, if that makes any sense.
Okay,
at least.
Because I think it's a good fit. It's not who I thought would be on that team, as we said before,
right.
But
I'm a big fan of Silly as well. I'm a big fan of Silly. He's a really good player, and I think he's kind of underestimated, to be honest with you. So we'll see how E6 does. Like we said, they're currently looking for one, but they do have their under 18 team ready to go. And they're just looking for that final player to compete or complete their 2 teams that they do have currently. So next team we're going to be talking about, team we just mentioned a little bit earlier, Goalie's, his team that he kind of let down. He kind of
his team that he
drew away from. He's a traitor to this team.
Goalie, in some countries, if you're a traitor, they actually
behead you.
They kill you. I won't say it, but yeah, they kill you. So I mean, that's something to bear in mind when you do this in future. I'm just warning you. Like,
for the record, Goalie's actually standing right next to his chair. He didn't actually leave. 100% guaranteed.
He's just standing
his camera
kind of
right to the little. See, he didn't even move. Oh,
are you happy
TK
now?
hat on.
Are you happy now?
Hat on.
Oh, hi, formal.
Okay, we'll have the TK hat on now. While we're
get the locks out a bit. Get the locks out a bit. Let's have the full formal effect.
There we go.
Yes, there we go.
There we go.
I'm
gonna get my haircut this week. It's so annoying.
Really?
It's so annoying.
You gonna get a mohawk like you were talking about me earlier?
Yeah, totally. Because you just keep putting words in my mouth. Thank you. Okay.
I don't want to put it
okay, talk about TK so I can.
So TK, they actually add Gunjar to their team.
Oh my god, really? I'm so surprised.
So this is like the 3rd or 4th time that Gunjar has been taken off the team and added back. This is the
TK's
original
version of replays on denial.
Basically, yeah. It's
Yes,
exactly the same thing.
Basically.
So that roster now consists of Neslo, Theory, Sharp, and Gunjar. This is the Black Ops 2 roster, the roster that competed with Cole, never won an event, but was always kind of coming in 2nd place. A very good team at that, very hard-working squad. I think the main reason why they got rid of Apathy was due to the fact of Apathy being a regular SMG, and they're like, we don't have anyone to run an AR.
I think the reason that Apathy is no longer on the roster is because he wanted a team with Sensor.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Based on what Apathy said in his video, he said that it wasn't his choice to leave TK, that he wanted to stay. That's just, players can say different things, no offense to Apathy, but that could be the case as well. I don't know. But just based off his video, he said that they released him and that Neslo didn't really want to run an AR in Black Ops 3. But the thing is that we don't know.
We don't know what's,
we don't know, like, if you need...
So, these team changes are so stupid, and everyone's saying it, but they're still making the team changes anyways.
Like, the meta will be a lot different, which I actually want to talk about the meta when we get to... actually a tweet from someone in the pro scene when we get to the Paris Games Week and stuff. But still, like, we don't know who's going to be running what position. Obviously, some players keep the same one. Most of them do. But occasionally, you will see a couple changes in position. So, not hating on TK by any means, but they're definitely... They always keep the same group of players. It's like the same pool that they always just keep choosing from, and they always, think it's... They think it's funny, and stuff. It's not... they don't take it seriously when people, like, get mad at them for that. They want to win who they want to win, and they're family, basically what you could say. So, but Goalie's not a part of that family. So next team we're going to be talking about...
That's okay, we have Fox now.
We do have Fox. That's true, we do have Fox, don't we? But we're going to be talking about, well, technically it could be Justice's roster. This team formed. We have no idea what organization this squad is currently going to be with. It's consisting of Spacely, Replays, Proofy, and John. I'm not sure if Big Snacks is actually in the chat. Has anyone seen Big Snacks by any means? Is he here? Does anyone
Big
know?
Snacks would have normally talked in the chat and yelled at us.
He probably would have by now.
I haven't seen Big Snacks, so I presume he's busy.
Wow.
Because he's normally in the chat.
So. Right. Well,
Especially
so what happened
last week with awards? He's just
Right. He's just gone. I think he's kind of ticked off he didn't win Owner of the Year, but yeah. It's whatever. It's whatever, Rick. It's whatever. We're not mad at you or anything. So right now, what's going on with Justice is the fact that Spacey was on the team. Assault, who was one of the players, decided to leave, and 2 of their players were actually under the age of 18, so they obviously can't compete in the COD World League. We thought that this team automatically was just going to Justice because Spacey was previously on the team. These 3 players that they picked up were free agents, so on and so forth. According to some tweets from Big Snacks, he actually said that I forgot what he tweeted exactly, but it was along the lines of like he's gonna have to start over, pick up some young players, and just roll with it heading into the next season.
It was really weird too because the Justice Twitter quoted Spacely's tweet and said "just fam." So we have
which immediately made everyone think. I think Optic Intel tweeted out that was the Justice team.
Yeah,
which I thought it was too.
We did too.
But it was just kind of weird. It was kind of weird to say the least. Right now, that team is not officially on Justice. I had DM'd Snacks asking him if it was, and he said that the paperwork hadn't been filled out. That was a couple weeks ago, so that means that that's technically not their team for right now. Could it be? We have no idea. We actually have no idea. We're not really sure. But thoughts on this team? You guys like this team? It's a little bit odd in my opinion, but I like the group of guys together that are actually on the team as well. But you guys' thoughts originally? It's basically replace Proofy and John. You like the team? Would you support them? You think they're going to do well? Tommy?
I don't know, because like,
be honest,
it's so frustrating coming off the bat of Advanced Warfare going into Black Ops 3 because from what the pros have been saying and various other people, they're very much different games, just like transitioning from Ghost to Advanced Warfare. And I just don't know, like the amount of people that go like, oh hey, what do you think of this roster? And it's like, I'm not Mystical Meg. I don't know. Like, for all we know, they could be really good, the best team in the world. For all we know, they could be the worst team, poop the bed, and end up splitting up after 5 hours. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm really rooting for Proofy because I've always kind of been a big supporter of him and kind of the success he's had throughout Call of Duty, the veteran. And he has had a bit of a rough year, just like many other veterans from the scene, like Merc and Aches. But yeah, I'm excited for this roster, but I have no idea how they're going to do.
Right. Goalie, any add-ons to that? I think Tommy kind of summed it up
Tommy
pretty well,
much said everything that I was going to say. So
right.
I'm sorry.
I've been honestly a major supporter of John for like the longest time. I was like, this guy, he's going to turn up. He has to, whether it was on Strictly Business or VVV, any of the teams that he's been on. I've been like, this guy's going to turn up, and it just hasn't really happened.
Well,
this year.
it just sucks because he doesn't play the entire year. Because the last 2 COD champs he hasn't been able to attend, even though he was able to attend the first one.
Right.
Which is really frustrating, but...
Yeah. Was it back in Black Ops 2 when he was on Fear at like Anaheim when they were like bigged up to be this like really good team?
Fear John?
Yeah, was it just me?
It was like him and Sharp. I don't remember the exact event.
But yeah, but they were like, that roster was like bigged up to be something like, and they didn't place very well. Let's put it that way.
I like John. He's a good player. We'll see how he does. Obviously, these guys got to pick it up a little bit. Replays obviously did win COD champs. Pretty successful year for the most part. Spacely kind of was the leader for Justice for the latter part of the year. Had a pretty good run every once in a while. And Proofy and John, free agents from E6. We'll see how these guys do. What organization decides to kind of pick them up? Could it be Justice? We're not sure. Might not be, according to what they've said, but we'll see. Kind of moving forward. So we're gonna move on to our next team. Not a major change, but DT, Dream Team. Chino actually decides to join this squad. For those who don't know, Ivy was actually on DT for MLG Worlds. He's actually under the age of 18, meaning that he cannot compete in the World League and that they had to basically find one player. I know immediately Goalie was a little bit surprised because we were in the call when this happened. Remember this? We were in the call together, and you're like, I'm actually kind of surprised he did that in a way, and then we kind of pieced together why he probably joined the team. Do you remember that?
I think I do.
Coming back to you. It's coming back to you. See, we were in a call. We were in a call for RosterMania.
I didn't say the thing about Parasite, but...
I swore you did. I feel like you're lying to me right now on purpose, because you actually remembered.
Nope.
No?
No, I did not.
Who said that to me then?
We were in a TeamSpeak call with like 9 other people, so...
I don't know. Either way, so Chino decides to join alongside Diabolic, Sender, and Watson. At least in my eyes, when I look at this team, immediate reaction, the reason why he joined this team is because of the chemistry. He obviously teamed with Sender. I think that was on like Vanquish, along with like Slasher and Miyagi. Like those guys
Vanquish
all support each other. Vanquish, it was Noble and Noble Vanquish or whatever. But those guys all support each other still. They're really good friends. And Chino's had a kind of a weird AW. He started off as a Slayer, and then kind of progressively, whatever teammates he got throughout the entire year, he kind of switched his playstyle because he was known as like one of the best players in AW at the beginning of the game, and then kind of like digressed as he became more of a support-minded player as well. So it's gonna be kind of weird to see, how he does on a news roster. He was on Rise, I think, throughout the entire year of Advanced Warfare, one of the only players to remain on the same team throughout the entire year. So props to Rise and for him to staying on that team for so long. But it's gonna be interesting to see how this team does. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on this squad. They could definitely be one of those like last teams. For instance, if they do get in the World League, they could be one of those final teams that make it in that 11th or 12th spot as well. So a couple other things. Stunner decides to pick up Assault. Along with like Godlike and Perp and so on and so forth. Another major thing, which I want to get to and kind of leads us into a major discussion, is talking about Optic Nation. So most of you probably know that basically Ricky, Nameless, and Miracles decided to leave ON basically in thoughts that there is a rule in other esports that only one organization can actually have one team in a certain league. And basically, Optic Gaming and Optic Nation both exist. They're obviously going to get rid of Optic Nation if they have to choose, for obvious reasons. No offense to ON.
Well,
but
they could outplace them. You never know.
They did once, right? they did it in Ghosts, I think, right?
Like G3.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm going to actually let Goli explain how they can kind of combat this, because you explained it to me really well in other esports, so I'll let you do that. But Ricky, Nameless, and Miracles have left the team, meaning that Embos is looking for one. We're taking 5. What?
No.
As in, like, we're gonna let Goli explain. We're just gonna.
Oh yeah. All right, you got this, Goli. No problem.
What am I explaining?
No. You explained to me the other day about how Optic Nation can basically still be a team.
Oh yeah. Okay.
In the World League, technically, and I want you to explain it because you said it really well, and I say it.
So there's other organizations that have done this in other leagues too. It would just depend on if ESL not ESL, if Activision would allow it. So what Nation could do, because from what we know is that 2 teams are no longer allowed in the league, is that Nation could rebrand itself completely away from Optic, and it could just be Nation. It would have to be under a separate owner, have its own LLC, all that crap, and it could be owned by someone that's technically a part of Optic, but they would have to part ways. So I know I didn't explain it as well as I did when I was talking to you, but it would still technically be like under the Optic umbrella, even though it wouldn't be actually an Optic team. Evil Geniuses has done this in the past. They like own Alliance, Elements, what are some? I know Alliance and Elements off the top of my heads, or off the top of my head, and they're not owned by the same person, but they technically are, from what I know. So that's a way that they could possibly do it.
Right. So we could see that happen. I'm not really sure. We've seen Imbo's tweet. I think someone said he's changed his profile from saying he's a pro player or something to like different stuff, which I don't really relate things to profiles most of the time, just because players could just do that to be weird. I mean, players do that all the time just to say something. But Ricky, Nameless, and Miracles have left the team. Most likely, we can basically assume that is the reason. I think Nameless made a video basically talking about that and saying that's the reason why they left. In a way, we could see Optic Nation kind of in a way diminish threat this year, or we could see them do what Gully exactly said, what other esports do. And I'm sure whether it's Optic, whether it's FaZe, that FaZe Black squad that wants to happen with Apathy and Censor and Saints, we could see FaZe or Optic, either one of them, both kind of take this rule into effect and try to form a new team. What would the team name be? We don't really know.
Another way how they could work it is that we don't know how the challenger system is going to work, but Optic Nation could technically be like a challenger team.
Yeah.
And then if they ever qualify for the league, then they could rebrand and go under different ownership, or they could sell the spot to someone else.
Right. So. We could. Anything's possible. We'll see what happens, and even if that rule does come into effect, which we don't know 100% if it will, it's come out and said, hey, these are the rules. We'll probably see that coming without the next couple of months, the next couple of weeks maybe. There could be some things leaked, or them just giving information about us, or giving information about it until it kind of comes to an end. So Optic Nation currently looking for 3 players. Will they actually even find any players? Stay tuned. That's really the only thing I can say right now.
Well, I think the more logical option is for Embos just to announce free agency and try and get on the team. I totally agree with what Bobby Chris said in the comments saying, I highly dislike how they're trying to bend the rules so Embos can have a team. I totally agree. I've always stood by it. It's one of the reasons why I thought a few months ago that Optic Nation should pretty much disband. Not because necessarily their performances were, just dreadful, but the fact that they're, with Optic having 2 teams, they're stopping or they're preventing opportunity for another organization to thrive off of what was the MLG Pro League. And I totally still agree with it. Yeah, it could probably work if he gets 3 players and they're in the challenger division, but I think it's wrong and just unjustified for, even if they do go off on to a team that's owned by Optic but separate, to be in the pro division with Optic Gaming, because at the end of the day I think it's just unfair because it stops opportunity of other teams that probably more deserve it.
Well, right. It's kind of a shame. It's mainly MLG's fault at the beginning when they set up the initial pro league, is they allowed Curse to have 3 teams.
We had youth.
We had youth, black and orange. Or
it
wait,
was
or was it?
And then
or was it? No, it was New York, LV, and youth. Sorry.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
But after that, it was orange and black.
Yeah.
I could have sworn. But yeah, either way, there was 3 teams coming into season 2 of the Ghost League, and it was absurd. 3 out of the 12 teams, that's 1/4. It's just stupid. But I mean, it's smart by Curse because obviously MLG didn't provision the ruling for that. But it's nice that we've kind of caught on, and I always stand by it. Although a lot of people do criticize MLG, you've got to realize that they're pioneers in what they're doing for Call of Duty, and they will make mistakes. But the main thing is that they learn from their mistakes, and that's what they've shown over time.
That's good. It's a good quote. The pioneers. I like that. I like that a lot. Something I want to ask you guys too really quickly is something that I'm not really sure of. It's most likely could come into effect, but I'm not really sure. Do you guys think, in your opinion, say that we have an NA, let's just say Optic Gaming. Let's just say Optic Gaming, obviously has a team in the NA. They don't have Optic Nation. As far as the regular NA, World League goes, can they have another organization in either the EU or Australia?
Well, that's what it comes down to, and that's why EG has 2 separate brands in League of Legends right now.
Different countries.
They have, I think it's, I can't remember let me actually pull up the League of Legends wiki.
Here we go. If, for instance, they have.
You come here to talk about Coddy's. You come here to watch Coddy's.
It used to be how it used to be is I think Alliance was in the EU and they rebranded to some. I think they rebranded to Elements, and then EG was in NA, which EG is no longer in the NA anymore. So.
Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of things to take into fact, and obviously, Call of Duty has a lot of questions to answer when it comes to the World League. We'll be finding out all those announcements, pretty soon. We'll be seeing all that stuff kind of come out, and I'm sure me and Tommy will probably be making videos on it. I'm sure Fox will be as well. So stay tuned for our YouTube content. So just kind of giving a little shameless plug there. So we're gonna get off of the Optic talk. I know we all have opinions about, oh my gosh, can't believe that Optic still has a team, so on and so forth. Whatever your opinion is, push it to the side for right now. We're actually going to talk about a new organization which actually entered the scene. Their name is Apotheon. I think I pronounced that correctly. Apotheon Esports on Twitter, I think is their. I don't know why to shout out their Twitter. Either way, they actually announced a new lineup of Fizzerp, Lacefield, Legal, and Fears. So kind of interesting, pretty surprising. I didn't really had any idea that a new organization that we didn't already know of previously would be kind of getting back into the scene. So Apotheon, new org, got a pretty good lineup as well. People are going to argue about this team in previous titles. They haven't been the best. Say what you will. We don't really know. But, a couple players on this team, Legal and Fears, I know have teamed in the past. They've been on, I think they were on Prophecy for a while. They've also been on Rise. Lacefield was a very, very well-known player for XGN, also on Thrust. And Fizzerp also been on a lot of teams as well. So we could see, a Rise of a new squad. You guys can kind of pitch in here if you want to about this team, you guys' thoughts on this squad as well. But to be honest, that's a pretty good team for an organization who's never really been known in the scene before. You don't normally see them just come into the scene and pick up, 4 pretty well-known players. It's normally mostly AMs and you make your way up. But thoughts on a new org that we never heard of joining the scene and grabbing some players like that?
Welcome them. We haven't had this.
Welcome.
Welcome. We haven't had this in a while, have we? Because obviously, I think if the kind of speculation is true with kind of Call of Duty being over multiple platforms depending on various tournaments and stuff, I think we could potentially see more top organizations coming to the scene as well, because of the fact that we don't know it for sure, but one of the kind of culprits for why we haven't seen other big orgs come into the scene. A lot of people seem to think it's because of the whole MLG thing, because a lot of big name teams and brands are obviously partnered with Twitch, what means it just creates complications like what we had back in Ghost with the whole EG/Cole situation and STiKS revolting and ended up getting banned. But yeah, I'm excited to see them perform. Yeah, I think it's awesome that we got a new team. I think it's just crazy to think that 2 or 3 years ago there was nowhere near this many kind of top tier level teams, but because over time so many more kind of top talented players have come into the scene, we've now got just such a massive pool of teams that any one of them could get into this pro division.
Yep.
I think it's really good, and honestly, people can hate on Advanced Warfare all you want to, but I think the one good thing that came out of AW is the fact of young talented players that we saw. Whether it would be in previous titles, we can argue that all day when we'll never know. But I'm really happy about all the young players that we have. You know, some of these guys we wouldn't really have known. Obviously, we know of Fears, like Legal was kind of known, but like Lacefield really wasn't. You know, we can just list off a number of players who are going to be in the World League next year, who weren't even known until Advanced Warfare dropped. So I'm really happy to see, obviously, the new organizations and also the new players as well, which we have forming, you know, new teams as well. And I'm really happy to hopefully see a lot of these veterans who didn't have the best title in AW, you know, kind of shine in Black Ops 3. So I'm hoping this is a good title for everyone. I want some good, healthy competition and these orgs to kind of come in and sweep up some of this new talent that we have heading into their first really main title besides Advanced Warfare. So it's going to be interesting. So welcome to Apotheon, like Tommy and Goalie basically said, and to them moving forward. So pretty good team. We're going to move on to Orbit. I know we have so many teams that I'm trying to get past this as soon as we can, but we'll take a commercial after the RosterMania.
It takes a while.
It does. But Orbit actually announced that Happy and Facento were actually had left the team. Replays had already joined Spacely Squad, and TCM had announced free agency. So those were the other two players that basically left. But Happy and Facento, the two players remaining, they decided to kind of part ways with them, and they picked up a new roster of Pac-Man, Lawless, Wheats, and Accuracy. Feel free to put your hate for Pac-Man. I know it's going to happen regardless of what I say. But, you know, we can ask our thoughts on this roster. We know it's based on previous titles. It's not the best team, granted, but like I said, we don't know how Black Ops 3 teams are going to be. You know, I think, honestly, Wheats and Accuracy are both phenomenal players. Accuracy was a great player in Advanced Warfare, and I think Wheats, probably his best title was this year. Very, very consistent, to point out.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Wheats and Pac-Man back together.
The old Rise.
I'm sad to see Wheats and Chino go. They've been duo all throughout Advanced Warfare. Was awesome, but yeah.
I think like Wheats was on Rise, then he went to AR, then he came back. It was they've been like apart, but they were on it most of the time. Exactly. So we'll see how the Orbit team. I mean, we can't really talk about them too much because we don't know about them for the most part, but we'll see how those guys do. So we obviously got off the talk of Optic Nation. Those three players were obviously looking for one. They decided to add Parasite to the team. Gotta say, it was kind of predictable in a way. Yeah, I think when you always think of these group of players, like there's always like a group of players that I imagine in like the Curse LV, the Unites, you know, whatever have you. It's like the Rickies, the Namelesses, the Miracles, the Embos, Parasite, Killa. Like those group of guys have formed a numerous amount of rosters with those four countless. I don't think this team has actually ever teamed before, like this exact squad. I'm pretty sure. I know, like, has this team ever formed, like this exact team, have they ever formed before?
Pretty sure it was Unite.
Was it Unite?
Back in like G2.
There was definitely like 3/4 of this roster teaming at one point. I'm pretty sure because there was.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know there was like 3/4.
Yeah.
I know that Embos, was it Embos for Miracles? No, maybe not. Because Miracles actually. No, I'm getting confused.
G2 was Parasite, Killa, and Nameless Ricky.
It was Killa. Because. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this team's basically been together all at some point, but not actually on the same team together. So we'll see this team does. Pretty talented squad. You could base on previous titles like Black Ops, where all these guys really shined. Miracles being a top player, Nameless, you know, being that main god for Unite, Parasite being a world champ, and Ricky doing some great stuff here and there as well. So this is looking like a very talented squad. They actually still do not have an organization. People were talking about, oh, you know, Unite should sign them. Unite actually mentioned the other day on their Twitter that they were looking for a team for Black Ops 3. We saw Barrage. I talked to you guys about it. Barrage had followed them all on Twitter. You know, in a European organization, but still yet haven't found a roster, and they'll be looking for an organization heading into Black Ops 3. Let us know your guys' thoughts in the chat on what you guys think, you know, if they will be a team, if you guys think that they will actually be a squad, or who will pick them up to be on their squad as well. So that's going to do it for our talk about about them. Next thing we're going to talk about is actually Epsilon and Elevate, the last two things for basically the RosterMania release section. Probably one of my favorite portions of RosterMania thus far, the last major thing that's happened until this point, meaning that Epsilon basically announced that they've officially parted ways with Aqua, Remy, and Nagafen, and also Vicento being a free agent. The old TR squad is a free agency. All of them are available, and Elevate decides to pick them all up, making the TR reunion. Cannot say how excited I am to see this team form again. Obviously they did finish at champs second place to Denial, and obviously probably been what I think on the STiKS award show they were the most wildcard team of the year.
Yeah, they were
correct?
the wildcard team of the year. Wildcard roster
of the year. So this team is definitely not someone to mess with in previous titles. We'll see how they do moving forward. But your guys' original thoughts, I know we all know Pittsburgh pretty well, and he was really excited to see his team. You're not necessarily under him, but just together again. I'm sure he's pretty happy about
Honestly, what I'm excited about is that Epsilon no longer has a North American roster. I expect, because if we assume that you can't have more than one roster in the league, in the World League itself, that would mean that they would go back to Europe and they would pick up a top European roster and be the masters of Europe again.
Well,
so I was going to ask you guys, I said I actually had that question lined up for in a minute, but do you guys think that this is Epsilon's way of basically saying farewell to the NA scene and kind of having their own EU team again, Gully?
I hope so, because Epsilon has... I love that Epsilon came over here during Advanced Warfare, and they were fairly successful. But in Europe, they crushed it, and they've been crushing it for a long time. Them and TCM have gone back and forth.
Oh yeah,
as the top two organizations in Europe. And I would much rather, personally, as an organization, be top 1 in Europe than top 5 in North America.
Agreed. Tommy, thoughts? Think it's going to happen, or your opinions on it?
I'm happy and disappointed at the same time, because I think the fact that Epsilon TCM have come over, Mad Cat, Swanee, Jerd, etc., has really boosted European Call of Duty by seeing what is achievable. And there's definitely been an influx in numbers participating at LAN events. Back at Amto Pro, we had like 67 teams. What I know seems quite small compared to North American figures, but that's been like the highest since back in like Modern Warfare 3. It was crazy. But on the downside, I'm sad to see obviously Epsilon TCM kind of fail in their mission to make it sustainable out in North America.
I don't think they failed at all.
Well, not failed, but obviously you see what I mean. Like they obviously would the kind of the goal was to stay out there, and it's just sad that they only made it out there for 3/4 of Advanced Warfare, and not even that. But that's why I just hope that Jerd can get on a team and TCM let him out of his contract, because otherwise it's tricky, because the thing is a lot of European teams have already made changes, and there's certain players tied in with certain teams, so I don't know what happens if they don't let him out of his contract and he goes back to the UK even. I don't know realistically who he can pick up that's going to be a top team, because there's already a lot of teams tied down in various teams.
I'd honestly I wish that Envy roster didn't break up at Worlds, and that Envy could have got Jerd out of the TCM contract, or they could have bought him out. I would have loved to see that roster continue to play in Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
So with Gunjar included, you said?
Yeah, with Gunjar.
Included. So would have definitely messed up a couple of things, but still would have been interesting. They had a really good run. I think they beat Elevate, which was like probably one of our favorite moments being at Worlds. Even watching it and being there live was just the reaction. And so we'll see how it works out, though. Looney and Octane are actually on the same team now together, which I think is kind of interesting over on Rise. So, what seemed like the guys who had the biggest beef together are now back together, which will be interesting. Another kind of storyline heading into Black Ops 3 as well. But the main question, obviously, will Epsilon, is this their way of saying farewell? We think it could be. Will Jerd be leaving and kind of joining either whatever it be? Because we all know back in the day in Ghost, Black Ops 2, even Tommy, I know can even reiterate this. It was just like, who's going to win this event? Epsilon or TCM, and they would just go back and forth. The roster changes. Like Mad Cat and stuff had left. Like it was always like a big deal, because there was occasionally where Epsilon players would join TCM players would join Epsilon, and it was just like a massive going at each other all the time. So we'll see how that does moving forward. obviously with the amount of prize money that's now involved, which we'll get to in Paris Games Week, there's going to be a lot of competition for these foreign.
That's why when
but,
I talk about having a top team in Europe versus a top team or an average team in North America, that's why I say that, because that prize pool, it's only 50K less in Europe.
It's definitely more viable in Black Ops 3.
It's a lot more profitable to have a top team in Europe than it is to have an average team in North America. And honestly, I've thought about this, that some average North American players could technically go over to Australia and try to dominate. And it's a lower prize pool and it's a smaller scene, but it's you have a better chance at succeeding
per season.
What?
It's 200K per season.
200K?
It's 250K, which, I mean, we're giving information out early before we talk about it, but either way, it's 250 in the NA, 200 in Europe, and then 150K in the ANZ region.
Yeah.
So.
Like, especially if you're a European player, you could, well, I'm saying it's only 50K less to go over, or impossible prize pool to go over to Australia.
It's true. It's a good point, because I mean it's an interesting discussion because you know, we don't really know what's going to happen with these teams already, and now that there's actually an incentive to kind of go back, like the reason why they left, obviously, it was because the scene wasn't as big, and now that the scene is being treated basically as the NA, as like the bigger scenes, like being treated as the bigger regions, like everyone's basically equal now in a way. Obviously, prize money does differentiate based on your size, but there's actually a reason for Jerd to return home, for Swanee to kind of officially go back and say they're 100%. You know, we obviously saw TCM come for season 2. You know, that was a major step for them, and now no one would blame them to head back. I don't think any of us would blame, you know, any of these guys to head back to Europe and to kind of rejoin that scene again. And I would personally love that. You know, I loved having the players over here this year. Totally understand why, but I would love to see, you know, the EU players who have grown go. I mean, be basically where they deserve. Like everything that they've been working towards is now there, and it's basically their decision on what to do from there. To do from now, I should say. So, you know, still an interesting discussion. We'll see. We'll kind of see what happens if what goes on with Jerd, what happens. Excuse me. With all these players and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So I think that's going to kind of do it for the RosterMania discussion. I'm going to read off a list of free agents really quickly for those who don't know. I've been making a list. I've been actually tweeting this out, giving this in DMs to pros, to owners as well. So this is kind of like an ongoing list that I've made, edited, and stuff. So this is pretty sure what is for sure going on right now. So I'm going to read you guys off a free agent list. It's not super long anymore, but I'll just talk about this really quickly. So the free agents as of right now are technically Merc, TP, Anticity, Lamagod, Mochilla, Royalty, Twiz, Exhib, Sinful, Study, Jump, Methods, Bielfire, Nadeshot. I still have them on the list. You can add Big Timer if you want to. Feel free. I don't really care. Tipsy, Felony, Happy, Killa, and as far as underage free agents go, I have Kinney, Envoy, Ivy, Havoc, and TCM. So the reason why some people might be asking is why I have Merc on the list. I've been getting that tweeted at me a lot. Is to the fact of what has basically been announced, and I actually heard on Teep stream as well, is that basically Envy is deciding obviously on a 4th, and they're basically deciding that on who is better, who works out better for their squad between Merc and TP. So right now, obviously, it is Slasher, Aches, and JCap, and that squad is basically trying out these two, you know, veterans and seeing which one works better for them. As far as Teep said in his stream, and no one's really actually known about this, he said it at the beginning of one of his Black Ops 2 streams the other day, that they're testing either one of them out. Aches is still undecided, and Teep was kind of offended by the fact that Aches doesn't want his old teammate back, but we'll see what happens if that's actually the case or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but those are actually the free agents for right now. If I missed any, feel free to let me know, tweet at me or put it in the chat. For sure, I would add the free agents for the players who don't have technically organizations yet, but you know, we'll just keep it going how it is. So I think it's going to kind of do it for our RosterMania talk. I know it was long. I know it was hard to deal with, but we finally got through all of it and blame the players and the organization. It's not our fault. We have to give you guys the information and talk about it a little bit. So I believe when we come back, we're going to talk about Paris Games Week. We'll also take some of your guys' questions maybe as well, and then we'll kind of settle it out. But we're going to be talking a lot about Paris Games Week. A lot of awesome information that we learned through this last weekend. So we'll see you guys after this quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you all in just a second. Boop. Time to do it. There you go. Good job. I love how he says that every time. What is that?
What is that?
Oh, hi, Tom. Hi, Top Tom.
What does that say? It's
something
focused.
Landon.
It says something Landon. XL
Say
Landon.
hi.
Hi Landon.
Hey.
There we
Oh.
go.
Hello, Tommy, on my iPhone. Hello. You can take it away now. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
That was like a perfect like glance back, it's like goalies transitions and whatnot. So, but welcome back, everyone. Obviously, after that quick commercial break, we literally didn't leave. We were just sitting here talking about the phenomenal viewership that we have right now. Thank you guys all for tuning in so far. We do appreciate it. We're going to be now talking about Paris Games Week. Did you guys watch it? You guys in the call? Did you guys watch it?
I watched half of it. My mom was in town, so
No excuse. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I went to go hang out with her instead of watching it.
Family first. I like it. Tommy?
Fair enough. I didn't watch it live, but I then watched the rebroadcast. In my defense,
I was the only person who watched it.
I was busy too.
I just don't have a social life. No, I'm kidding.
Well, someone's booked a holiday for Black Ops 3. Just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like
that was smart of you.
I would gladly trade. I would gladly trade if that makes any difference at all. But so what happened for those who missed it? Paris Games Week, a major basically expo, if you want to call it an E3 type of event that's similar to it, held in Paris. They talk about a bunch of different games releases. Major companies go there, talk about new games that are coming out. We obviously saw PlayStation. There's major companies. If you can think of one, they were most likely there talking about new games that are going to be coming out for them. As well. And we actually had a Black Ops 3 live stream that we got to witness that was hosted by Maven, Mr. X, and basically an esports person over at Treyarch. It might be Treyarch or I think it was at Activision, named Jay Purrier, I believe is what his name is, according to David Varnahar. But he basically was there to kind of provide knowledge about the game. They did a best of 5 series between the EU All-Stars and the NA All-Stars. Technically All-Stars? I mean, you can call them whatever you want to. Either way. As far as the Team EU went, it was actually Gun Elite, Power, Jerd, and Broken, and Team NA consisted of Replays, Sharp, Study, and Crim6. They actually played a best of 5. I don't know if you guys remember the maps or not, but if you do, I'll read you guys off them really quickly. I'm going to ask you which of these maps was your favorite to watch. So the first map we saw was Metro Uplink, then we went to Breach Hardpoint, then to Redwood Search and Destroy. Then we saw Exodus Uplink, then Havoc Hardpoint. Out of those best of 5 series that we watched, was there a map that stood out to you that you guys really liked as far as any of them go? Or at least the first 2 that Goalie saw.
Even though I had no clue what was going on, I enjoyed watching Redwood Hardpoint or S&D. Sorry, I think that's what it's called, Redwood.
Yeah,
right?
You're correct about that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was actually surprised about how many people didn't know who Gun Elite and Power were.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised by that, but I guess that's to explain.
To explain to them who they are.
Oh, Gun Elite's been at 2 COD champs under. One was under Killerfish, and then Power. Power was on Sublime. In 2014, they didn't attend.
Power's a little more obscure, though. I admit that.
Power is more obscure because he's an Italian player, but I would expect most people to know
Gun Elite.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If people don't watch European Call of Duty, what by no means I expect people to, then it's not really surprising.
All right, I got you. Tommy, your thoughts on any of the maps that we watched? Is there any one of them that kind of stood out to you at all? If any? No worries. I'm not all staring at you asking.
It was all everything stood out because I've never seen it before. It was all really exciting to see.
Answer. What a surprise!
Yeah, cop out. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I try not to normally give cop out answers, but yeah, this is a one. Yeah, I was just super stoked to see the Europeans win when.
Wow, the spoiler. Okay.
When it. Oh, well, I'm sorry. This is the first time I think ever the Europeans have beaten North America, and it always has to be as something that is completely irrelevant and it's a showcase match. Just so ironic that the time we do beat them, it counts for nothing.
Yeah.
I heard Parasite. What am I saying? I heard Crim6 said that they didn't actually have like live comms, like they actually couldn't hear each other communicating in the first couple of games.
What?
Is that
I think
true?
it was more meant to be casual anyway.
Okay, I didn't know if they could actually if that was true or not. But and then they said they apparently turned them on, and that's the 2 maps that they won. I'm not saying that's for sure because I don't know, but
that sounds like an excuse.
I'm not saying the EU sucks. I mean, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Hey, we had no comms as well.
Yeah, well, that's true. But maybe you guys are better at casual gaming. We're just better at competitive gaming. Who knows? I mean, shots.
Yeah,
Oh.
you stop firing shots, Landon. We got to finish this episode, man.
I'm the worst person at firing shots. I can like hate on you and literally compliment you at the same time. But as far as I go, like favorite maps to watch, I do agree with Gully about Redwood Search and Destroy. I think it was really cool. It looks pretty interesting. The amount of redwood trees that they have is great. It's gonna be phenomenal, especially if you have Purifier. You can basically have a massive.
And to
fire.
anyone that didn't see the stream, I'm directly talking to you, Dubs, in the chat. You should be able to go to twitch.tv/Call of Duty and look at the past broadcasts.
They stopped the broadcast halfway through, and they didn't have. So they had the first like 30 minutes of it, and then once they turned off the stream and came back,
it didn't save the second half. Really?
No.
So Twitch glitched.
Yes.
Well, someone has to have it on YouTube then.
I have actually.
I was
You guys
just
can talk. I can DM or I can not DM. I could post it.
Post it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. If someone can talk for like 30 seconds, well, fine.
Oh, Tommy.
Found it. I'm kidding.
Okay. Good. Well,
There
it'd be
you
nice
are,
if you could
good
give us
sir.
something to talk about, but
Well, I found it already. I apologize. So there's the VOD. If you guys are curious, the VOD of the entire event that was actually on YouTube Gaming as well as Twitch, which we'll talk about.
it was on YouTube Gaming.
It was on YouTube Gaming and Twitch. That's why we have the YouTube VOD.
That's right. You're right.
It's all right. I forget.
I can't. I have a glitch on my Google Chrome that I cannot watch any YouTube Gaming streams.
That's odd.
Like, so what happens is like the video stutters like crazy.
fun.
It will stop for 3 seconds, and then it will show all of that 3-second footage in 1 second. So like speeds up, slows down, speeds up, stops, speeds up, stops. It's so screwed. Google Chrome is just a piece of crap, is what it comes down to. Like, I love it, but
It's so ironic.
There goes
that
our Google Chrome
YouTube
sponsorship that
doesn't
we were
work
trying so
on a
hard to
Google
get.
Platform.
Go with Internet Explorer now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gully.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
God. No, Firefox.
I'm not going to start a battle, but I prefer Internet Explorer over Firefox. It's just like so glitchy. It's glitchy for me. I don't know why. Like Internet.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
No, I'm just saying really quickly. I prefer like at least with my computer, I always have trouble with Firefox. Like loading anything, it's just an issue for me. I don't know. Like downloading stuff just doesn't work. That's the reason why I'm saying it. I'm not saying that Internet Explorer is better, but the experiences that I've had, it has been. There we go. We're dodging a bunch of stuff right now.
Released.
So what happened is in this Paris Games Week event, Team EU did win 3-2, like what Tommy said. They won the first 3 games. So technically, they 3-0'd the NA, but since they want to complete all the maps, they don't want to end it like a regular series. Team NA did end up winning the final 2 maps as well. So as far as the stream goes, really enjoyed it. They had a couple issues at the beginning. They didn't really know what bitrate was. It looked like we were watching a 360p stream. I said B stream. That's weird.
It was a 15 because I looked at the Twitch stats. It was a 1500 bitrate, 25 FPS, 720p. It was absolute shit. It was so bad.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
I can swear every once in a while. PG-13, boys.
Swear jar. There we go. We should actually have that where Gurley has to give donations to the stream.
Oh, man.
Good idea. We should add. Well, I'll talk to Kingdom about that later.
Okay.
Anytime we can have it.
Crap, I don't have a single dollar. There's a $5 in the swear jar. So.
Wow. Could you $5 every time you swear?
No, I just don't have a
I'm
$1
gonna-
on me.
like, take you off.
So that's for the entire show.
Okay. Okay, so you're like basically like putting a clearance before you start. Gotcha.
So I can swear 2 more times.
Awesome. All right. Feel free whenever you want to. Just feel free just to yell it out whenever you want to. I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna kind of move on while you think of swearing words to say. Some of the things that they had in the broadcast I really liked, besides the the issues that they had with the stream, were some of the caster tools. I'm personally a caster, so I look at those things. One thing that I noticed that was amazing was the time and hill stat. They actually had that added in, which is great. It's one of they basically have like obviously your kills, your assists, and whatnot, and they actually have like basically an objective slot where you would have captures and stuff. They now have a new feature added, which is the time and hill stat, meaning that every time that you're in the hill and you're grabbing time, it's shown on the screen. So basically, objective players are like literally giving praise. They've literally are praying to David Vonderhaar for that right now. So
I was gonna say Gaben.
Awesome. I was thinking about Gaben too, but I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, this is not CS:GO. This is Call of Duty. So I was really happy to see that time and hill stat was definitely needed, and it was added. David Vonderhaar responded to the community and decided to put it in, and it looked really good for the most part.
Yep.
Some of the issues that I personally had, not major things. One of the things that I noticed was actually the kill feed. majorly messed up. Every time, basically, if me and Tommy were on opposite teams and say that I was blue and Tommy was red, every time, regardless of what team that we were on, whoever killed whatever team, that would show up blue. So every time someone got a kill, it was blue killing red, whatever team it was. It wasn't blue killing red, red killing blue.
Yeah.
It was just blue, 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 blue.
It
red,
was
red,
messed up like the Advanced Warfare kill feed was messed up right when they released the new kill feed. Or I mean the new broadcaster mode. So.
Right. And I noticed in another, I think it was like a different game, it was switched up. So I'm not sure if it was just the map that they were playing
I think it was a
on.
glitch, is what Von Hart said. So it might just be on certain maps and in certain game types that's not working yet.
Sure. I see people in the chat saying, Glow, that you can make the rules all you want to.
Yeah,
so.
I'm cool with that. I make the rules on this show. I can shut the stream off right now, and you can't do anything about it. I can put up random photos of Tommy.
You do that regularly without us. Yeah, you just did it
regularly.
You clicked. I heard you just click. You just clicked. You did something, didn't you?
My hands are sitting on my lap right now. So
there's so many.
I heard a click.
Okay. This is the cast off. I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating.
Bro,
I'm not cheating.
I swear. It's Tom.
Internet game shows,
not
ladies
cheating.
and gentlemen.
Well, not
Clearly not cheating.
But either way, so the kill feed was obviously messed up. I don't know how I'm like transitioning so well right now. But something like that was definitely messed up. I think David Vonderhaar tweeted that out. He was doing live tweets throughout the entire event, basically saying that that's going to be patched and stuff like that. So I was really happy to see that be implemented and see how he reacts to it.
He's better than Activision support line.
He is. He's literally the definition of support. He literally can do everything. And something else that I noticed, at least in the caster mode, was the minimap. It's very, very small. And in the position that it was at, it actually covered up the players alive on search. So if you watch the Redwood Search and Destroy, the only search map that they played, if you see, like, for instance, in the corner where it says players alive, whether it's 4, 3, 2, or 1, the minimap was actually covering a portion of it, which kind of frustrated me. I don't know why. It just kind of does. And the minimap was very, very small. And Advanced Warfare, since it's so quick, casters are always looking at the minimap. Like, that's, like, the main thing that you're watching because the game's so fast-paced you can hardly keep up. If you're the person driving, which means that you're the one controlling what you see on screen, it's very hard to be able to look at that kill, be able to look at that minimap and be able to know what's going on.
One thing I'd like to see in the future, and I've talked about this beforehand, is that the casters should not be the one driving. They should be focusing on casting. In other esports, they have a producer that is controlling everything. Someone that's mid-job is to just control the in-game camera. I think that's how it should be. There's no, casters should just be focusing on talking, nothing else. Coming up with funny puns and saying Maven stats. So Maven stats.
For me personally, at the events that I've been to, I'm always the person that drives. I don't know why. It's really weird, and I've kind of transitioned and watched so many gameplays. I feel like I'd be better if I didn't. But it is very difficult. It's very, very hard to switch between players. It's very hard to basically show a camera about what's going on, and then also talk about
It's like you're playing at the same time as you're casting.
Exactly. It's very, very difficult. It's a very hard skill to learn, and I've definitely not mastered it with all the times that I've casted. So there's some people who do it perfectly. I know Puckett drives a lot of the time, and he's fine with it. Obviously, he's been casting for a very long time, but it's definitely something that I would like to see in some way fixed, or at least make it easier. And Black Ops 3 is a little bit slower, and it'll make it easier no matter what. So, and that was it for the casting tools. Was there anything that you guys noticed that you thought as a spectator might need to be fixed, or something that you liked that was added?
One thing
if not, it's fine.
I liked is that Vonderhaar tweeted out about it too, is that there's no longer, or they don't want it to be like Black Ops versus CDP. They always want it to be team name versus team name. And that's a huge improvement from just the UI. We don't have to have graphics. We don't have to have graphics that are made externally. We can just use the graphics that are given to us in the game. Especially if we get something cool like how Counter-Strike has their flags. We don't have to necessarily have the team logo in, which would be amazing if we could, but at least just having the names in game, which I know Infinity Ward added that towards the end of Ghost to the Ghost broadcaster mode, but it was never utilized.
Right, they never really broadcast it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know. At least in certain games in the PS4, you can upload pictures. So maybe if they wanted to implement that, it could be possible, but it would be difficult. But I think it honestly would be worth it.
It's not difficult. All you need is a USB drive and a transparent logo. It's not difficult.
Well, I meant to put it into the game
I know.
and then have it. I'm just
I
don't know. Goalie's just being difficult.
Goalie's
right
a
now.
wizard with this.
Goalie can literally produce a console.
You go to cod.esportspedia.com, you go to the team page, and you drag the transparent logo into your USB.
Okay, well, might be a little bit harder than that. I would say, like, to code it in.
I know. Coding it's a different issue.
Moving on. Besides the casting tools that we talked about, well, Goalie really talked about, and said how easy it would be for them to fix it all, you know. But they actually announced an ESL partnership. Figured it was happening. Majorly excited to see it be implemented. ESL is a very, very well-known, esports producer type of company that most of the events that you watch that are majors, whatever game it may be, most likely and positive that ESL has hosted an event for them, and some of the major events that you see all the time are obviously hosted by ESL as well. So they confirmed that they will be in partnership with Call of Duty for the World League. I've seen people talk about, will ESL do regular events? We don't know that yet. They've said so far that they will officially be partnering with Call of Duty for solely the World League for right now. They could change
the pro
that.
division of the World League too.
The pro division of the World
not
League.
The Challenger division.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I wouldn't have said that. So, could that be a step in where another company, maybe MLG, comes in? We have no idea, but we're not going to get into that right now. But ESL confirmed for the COD World League. Honestly, I don't see any negatives out of this. Really happy to see ESL be involved. And, we kind of figured it would be happening, but we just wanted to hear the announcement, and it's out in the open. You guys happy about this?
I'm happy it was finally announced.
It was finally announced, Tom? Tom?
I'm not sad now.
You're sad, what you said?
No, never mind. TomTom is like a sat-nav brand. And you said TomTom, and I'm excited.
The one thing that I'm still a little bit frustrated about is that once again Activision has handed the league to another company. I personally want Activision running it completely by themselves. But
baby steps. They've got an esports team. It is their league. It's steps in the right direction.
It is steps, but I don't want to see Activision handing something off to another company. Now, if ESL's only doing production, I'm 100% okay with that because they're going to do a way better job than Activision would. But I want to see Activision running the league.
I know what you mean for the most part. You want to
see them...
them...
they've got a dedicated esports team, so logically they're not going to just be sitting on their asses.
Yeah.
I hope that is... I totally agree with you. I hope that is their plan, and it isn't just we're running the league, but we're not running the league at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I understand both points. Obviously, we want somebody's going to do it well to do it, but we don't want to see Call of Duty just like, hey, take care of this. Like we don't want that to be, poison cane. So or poison part. So obviously, next thing, I actually was going to tell Goalie to do this in a way, like to explain how the structure is going to work for the Call of Duty World League. If Goalie wants to, I know Tommy kind of said he would do it too. We're just going to explain how it's going to work out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they announced the format during, and I actually didn't see this live, so I don't know if they were talking about it or if they they just showed the screenshots. But how the World League is going to work in 2016-2015 season. 2015-2016 season. It's going to work a lot like the LCS works in League of Legends. You have your qualifier at the beginning of the year, and that's how you get into the regular season. Then you will have the first season, which is considered stage 1. After that, you go to the playoffs and relegation, much like how the last season of the MLG Pro League worked, or the last Advanced Warfare season. Then we get the mid-season break, and then
that's your favorite part, isn't it?
What?
Your favorite part about
yes. It. Oh my God, that mid-season break's going to be amazing.
It's going to be a holiday.
And then after that,
Goalie's going to have his feet up.
Yeah, we'll go into the second split, where we will have the exact same thing as the first split, and then at the end of the year we'll have the COD Champs qualifiers. I'm assuming that some of the top teams from season 2 of or stage 2 of the World League will automatically get qualified for the COD Champs. And then all the other teams will go through the Champs qualifiers. So
yeah, it'll be good. We obviously know some of the things. We don't know how it's going to relate with, like you said, World League teams who, how that's going to relate to COD Champs. If all of them get to go, we don't really know the specifics yet. with a lot of the information that we've talked about that'll be implemented soon.
And so to bring in another esports as an example, I'm constantly using League of Legends this episode, and I'm sorry, but it's because I know a lot about it. And how they did it this year is they had championship points that you acquired throughout the entire season, like the entire season, including the first and the second split. Once the second season was over, if you weren't in that top echelon of teams that qualified through the point system, then you went to the Gauntlet tournament. Or, well, wasn't called the Gauntlet tournament. That's what everyone else called it. And then one team from that would qualify for champs. So we'll see how it works this year.
I think it'll be interesting. In the fact that if you are in the Challenger division in stage 2 or the second split, I think you still have the possibility of qualifying for champs.
Yes,
I'm not 100%
you do.
certain of that. I think it's like top 1 or 2 or something, but it's not as many as you would as it will be for the pro division, where probably like top 8 will be advancing forward.
The one thing that I hope that they do correctly is that you don't qualify from just doing good in the second season or the second split.
That's true.
That's something, and this is how they did it in League, is that if you took first place in the first split, you got those championship points, which would carry into the second split. So
that's nice. Yeah.
So then it doesn't mean you have to then still place well in the second split. You can still come technically.
You get rewarded. Yeah, it's not just like season 1's great.
It's like,
season 2.
It's not like season
like
2 was just like a
points,
beta season, and then season 3 or season 1 was a beta season, and season 2 was the real season. That's what I hope they avoid.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Hopefully they do it correctly. I'm sure they will. But ESL is very well known, and that's kind of how it's going to work out for the most part. As far as prize money goes, which I know we have another image for that, we'll kind of be talking about the prize money. We discussed how many teams are obviously going to be in each of the technical seasons. As far as the NA goes, you guys can see North America, 12 teams, 8 season finalists, and a $250K obviously prize money per stage, which basically means per season, $250,000 will be awarded for that entire thing, which is phenomenal. I know for each season, at least for Advanced Warfare, we had like around 75K, so that's definitely a boost up. $250,000 is phenomenal. As far as Europe goes, 10 teams, 6 finalists, and it's going to be $200,000 awarded per stage per season as well. And as far as basically Australia and New Zealand, the ANZ, 8 teams overall and 4 finalists, $150,000 per stage, which is great. Cannot tell you guys how excited I was to see this graphic. It honestly looks fantastic. And as far as each season goes, obviously you guys can see the top $1.2 million prize pool for Pro Division stage competition. That doesn't include the what is it called, the Challenger division. So that could there's obviously gonna be prize money involved with that. So
champs.
Yeah, just for the 2 seasons, over $1.2 million. Well, not over, but $1.2 million will be awarded, and just that. That's gonna be fantastic. And I know even watching the pros' reaction to this, like seeing them tweet it out, and just seeing how excited they were that finally we're going. Like the players that we have work very hard. Like obviously we know they grind out the game almost as much or even as much as other esport players. So for them to see or at least see a reward out of that for this year, I was really excited about it. Like I saw Parasite, I saw Miracles, I saw Ricky. Like I saw so many pros just saying like thank you very much for finally rewarding us for this, and just being, they were just very thankful for what they've
staying
really
here and keeping COD a thing. Yeah,
exactly. So it's definitely very humbling to see some of these guys react to it. So it's gonna be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. And obviously the first season, over 600K will be awarded. So that's gonna be that's a lot of money for just one season. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of money awarded to not just the NA, to the EU, and also the ANZ, the 3 regions which they had announced before. So another thing, we're obviously gonna be talking about some other stuff. Arena, which is obviously basically going to be the Black Ops 3 version of Black Ops 2 League play. It's called Arena this year. They talked about a couple things for that. There's going to be different playlists which you can join. They said there's going to be one playlist in particular called the Pro Division, in which that particular playlist you can play exactly as the pros do. They'll have an updated list with the current loadouts, the guns that are banned, or not banned, but like the kill streaks and stuff that aren't going to be used, that you don't have to worry about. And that's also the certain section that you can use the ban/protect system, and also the specialists as well. So there's going to be a specific obviously playlist for that as well. Something that I noticed, people were also complaining about the ban/protect system, which we just talked about for the Pro Division and Arena play. There's a lot of people complaining about it, saying, that's not what I want to see. The M8 kept getting banned, and everyone wanted to see it be used. But something that I really liked that I didn't really think of in my head, like I knew it was there, but I just didn't think of it at the time. A tweet actually came out from Parasite. I don't remember the exact wording, but he said along the lines of, finally we have a Call of Duty title where there isn't going to be a meta. Like we don't have to worry about there being a meta for Black Ops 3.
There will be a meta, but I know what you mean.
I mean, obviously, for instance, if everyone starts using the M8 and the Kuda, the two guns that we know of, those guns can be banned just like that, which means you have to adapt. I mean, you can ban as many guns as you want to. You can ban as many, or not as many as you want to, but you have 8 slots to be either banning or protecting something. And while there will be a little bit of a meta, there's not going to be that same. These are the only guns we're using. The Vector meta from Ghost, the Balin ASM1 meta from Advanced Warfare. We're not going to just have 1 or 2 different guns to use in the entire game.
I think we will still see that. That will just naturally happen over time. That every time. Whether it's in a MOBA, like I'm just going to use for an example, that a certain champion always gets banned until it's patched. So we will still see a meta form. It will just be, we'll have these random teams, especially from the challenger scene, that will just completely screw up the meta and throw off a lot of the current meta that will be played at the time. I don't know, you can never say that there won't be a meta, because a meta will always form. We just saw in this last season, or that gentlemen's agreements became a thing. In the ban and protect system, that will still be a thing.
Yeah, there will still be like particular attachments and perks that get used, because I think teams will work out what is more beneficial in terms of what to ban and what to protect.
It may not be officially banned in the rule set, but players will still say, I refuse to play against this weapon. Or I refuse to play without this weapon. So
I feel like players will be more lenient, if that makes any sense. I feel like they will be, because honestly, like when it comes to the COD World League, and we don't know how they're going to react to everything. They could say, you know what, there'll be certain things that we globally ban in a way, which I know people hate to hear that word, but obviously you can't use things like UAVs. You can't use certain things.
Well, they were using UAVs and they were using care packages at the show match event.
Well, that wasn't really an esports presentation. I mean, it was, but it also wasn't in a way. So I'm saying that there's going to be things that are globally banned, but I think in a way, for instance, there won't be a meta, and the fact of saying, what if there's just one player who gets to obviously go first, and they have an option to either keep the M8, which is actually good for their team, or just ban it because that other team is better than them. I just think that there's going to be more variation, because you have to think about it. There's obviously going to be a certain amount of guns that you want to use.
You're going to have to be good with, like, if you're an SMG player, you're going to have to be good and know what to use with, like, 3 or 4 different SMG guns.
Which I do like. It will bring a lot of versatility.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hate seeing Call of Duty where it's just always one bout, in one sort of it's just bout, ASM1, and then the malls. It's like, I want to see more variety. I want to see someone bring out something that we haven't seen before, that's effective and useful.
Well, I just think, like, for instance, imagine if you're playing, a pretty AR heavy map. Let's just say it's one, let's just say Hunted. I'm just thinking it's actually probably SMG. Either way, just let's say you're playing a map that's basically based on more of an AR role. You can ban all ARs, or you can protect all the ARs. You can do whatever you want to, but I'm saying you're not going to see the same weapons be used every map, because you could have one team that just decides who's actually. I think you're gonna have to be good with a lot of weapons.
I think we will still see a majority of the time we will still see the same weapons used. But I understand what you're saying.
Right. It could go either way. We could see players either, agree, like do gentlemen's agreements, which I'm not a major fan of, but it's also where in a way you have to not hate on the players. It's that the fact that something is majorly overpowered where players have to step in. It's something that I'm not a fan of either. Like, is the LMG really good in Advanced Warfare? Yes. But in a way, people could argue that it is overpowered. There's just a lot of things that I would have preferred to see Advanced Warfare take into consideration and say, hey, that thing needs to be leveled out, and have players have to step in and take over and say, hey, they're basically being the developers for themselves. I wasn't a fan of. But there are some cases where you leave it up to the pro players. They're going to ban everything they just don't like. Like, for instance, if you get tired of the LMG, let's just ban LMG. Nagaton was amazing with the LMG for a while.
I honestly
goes either way.
Yeah, I just think we all just need to, like, just kind of chill and take a step back, because at the end of the day, there is definitely going to be problems with the ban and protect system. No, there's no way that it's going to come out and be absolutely perfect. We all know it with everything that's ever been implemented. Like even going back to codcasters that have had problems and various things. Like even going back to Ghost with the camera glitch in S&D and where you could see the bomb when you died. There's always going to be the like little glitches and bugs and problems, and they will get fixed. It's just one of those things, you know. And as you talked about, you know, we may come across problems where we still have kind of gentlemen's agreements or all sorts of things, and hopefully with Activision now stepping in through the door rather than just kind of being in the threshold, they will now kind of make kind of decisions by themselves and quicker, so that we can kind of adapt to the environment we have.
Right. So I mean, it could go either way. Like we said, I mean, there's a lot of different things that could implement. We could see, like I said, we could see a certain meta, we could not. There's a lot of things that could be up to it, but I like what Parasite said in the fact that we're not going to be using we're not going to have to worry about one gun being used in particular. Like I know we can all relate to Ghost in some way. We're not going to have to worry about one gun being the most overpowered gun and everyone's going to use it. Because you saw, like the M8, for instance, that was banned every single game because everyone knows someone's good with the M8. And so they were kind of worried about it, and that was banned every time, I think by Team EU in particular, but so feel free to send hate to Team EU. I'm just kidding. So on solid plate. So
you could alpha,
but that's up to Team NA then to protect the M8 if they want to use it. So
that's one thing I want to see implemented too. Is that right now I believe it's just sleight of hand, like whoever goes quicker gets it.
I don't think so for actual. I think that's only for arena.
Is it for sure?
I'm not sure, but
because I know. Well, they did it for the event, and at least as far as what I've heard from pros, they're acting like that's going to be the same way, which I think that needs to be stepped in a way.
No, it won't be.
I think it should be. I don't think that you should relate on who's quicker to ban or protect something. I think there should be at least some type of order.
The top seeded team should always, or the top seeded team like in a bracket or the home team in a league will always like get the first ban.
Well, I agree, but I'm saying we don't know that for sure. Like, what if in the World League they don't care?
It's a professional esports league, Landon.
I know that. I'm just saying.
You're saying that you're even considering that a home team will not get a pick or ban advantage.
I'm saying it hasn't been announced yet.
It's how the format's gonna work.
Like what I said, Landon. Like everything will be revealed when the game is out.
Don't worry.
We don't
about
know
it,
even
chill.
probably a tenth of what is planned for the year ahead. So I mean, there's just so much to come. I'm excited as much as you are, and Goalie is, and yeah, I'm. Even if, say, hypothetically, there is a problem with the ban and protect where it is a free-for-all where one player from both sides goes at the same time and it doesn't end up working, it's not like Activision is just going to sit on their asses and say, oh, well, we gave it a try, we'll come back in 3 years and try it again.
I understand. And I wasn't saying that will come into play. I'm just saying I want that to be something that's announced. Like, I want that to be in effect, because what players have said so far is that hasn't been a thing yet.
For a professional league,
I know, Goalie. I'm just saying that they haven't. I agree with you. Like, I'm literally agreeing with you, but I'm saying that pros have been saying that hasn't been added yet.
Don't worry about it, okay?
I will worry about it because I want to make sure it's
good at listening to the community. Let's be honest. Like, that's the whole reason behind the beta. So I mean, even if like this is an issue, they would have probably now seen it from the pros saying that it's an issue or whatever, and they'll hopefully take it into consideration. And if not, we'll get round to the first few weeks and we'll then realize, and then it'll be fixed.
Swag.
But
swag. There you go. That's just really about it. I see Ron in the chat. What's up, Ron? Ron actually was recently announced to be joining ESL. Congratulations, Ron. Can we clap for Ron in the chat or the call? No one else? Just me? All right, everyone can hit on Ron. That's fine. Whatever. Love you, Ron. But another thing that we're going to be talking about is obviously, really quickly as we kind of end out the show, being the fact that everything was basically streamed on. Like, we've seen the Black Ops 3 Friday streams been streamed on YouTube Gaming. We've seen the esports reveal. We saw the first major reveal of Black Ops 3 be streamed on only Twitch. You guys think will be either... We can basically assume that World League stuff in particular will be on either Twitch or YouTube. You guys think we'll be on both? Or do you guys think that we're just going to be on Twitch? Because I'm sure that we won't just be on YouTube.
Everything will be on Twitch because Activision is smart. And then everything else should be multi-streamed to every other platform. Should be streamed to YouTube, should be streamed to MLG, should be streamed to Azubu, should be streamed to Hitbox. Everything.
So do you think World League stuff will be too? Like actual, like the Pro League stuff will be on MLG too?
I hope it would be.
Yeah,
I don't see a reason
it's
for it not to be.
definitely. Well, I mean, if anything, like being on multiple streams is better than just being on one stream.
Mhm.
Even though you could consider Twitch to be the best platform at the moment, the more streams you're on, more platforms you're on, the more kind of the wider your funnel is in terms of capturing audience.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'd be surprised, very, very surprised if next year we are still completely on MLG. Like I would bet a lot.
We're not going to be on. We're like they've had the last 2 live streams on Twitch. Everything.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Everything will be on Twitch, and then it will be multi-streamed to everywhere else, hopefully.
Another thing that I'm curious about is whenever they have MLG events, like in particular, like they haven't really said for sure, but they've hinted at Anaheim. Say they do have Anaheim, be an event. Will that just be on MLG.TV? Which I know we don't know for sure yet, but in your guys' opinion, do you think that that will solely be on MLG.TV, or do you guys think that that will also be on Twitch, also be on YouTube Gaming? I'm kind of curious about that because I know some events that MLG does host.
Well,
in the past have only been on MLG.TV.
I've heard recently from watching some other shows that it sounds like MLG will be streaming on Twitch again soon.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I could see like the primary stream being on MLG.TV and then being on anything else with a 30-second delay.
Oh.
I think that would be a good way to do it.
I think, yeah.
Be interesting. They'd have to bend, not bend their rules, but they'd have to switch up their rules for right now, which they already kind of implement. So that could be a thing.
More platforms on, the better, basically, I think.
Overall. Oh yeah, I mean, you can basically, in a way, if you have it on every streaming platform, you're going to increase in viewership in some way. I see Mr. X mentioning Hitbox and Azubu. Like, honestly, as the 20 viewers that we would get from either of those platforms together, it's still 20 viewers. Still 20 viewers that you wouldn't have before. So, just saying that as well. I mean, I think more streams is better. Is better quality. You know what I mean? We could just throw it out
YouTube Red. Oh man.
It's like, what was it? Back at COD Champs, someone was actually streaming COD Champs on Twitch. Like, probably not meant to be, but they were still pulling like 7.
5 minutes as far as they lasted, but yeah, they were.
Yeah, they pulled like 7K viewers. Well, it's not bad.
Run an ad.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is as well, what we don't take into consideration, there's a whole breed of like past streaming platforms. What is, of course, watching it direct from an Xbox, from a PS4. What I think recently actually received a Twitch app. So there we have it.
The PlayStation 4 just got the Twitch app. I've been using it.
Exactly. So that's exactly the thing that's gonna obviously take viewers away from Twitch, but at the same time, it's still viewership. Obviously, we may see a bit of a decline in what our actual viewership is because there's no way to really determine how many people are watching on here all at one time. But yeah.
All right, I got you. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, those are some stuff to be announced. There's gonna be a lot of things that we're gonna find out in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, once the game's out in our hands, which will be next week. Last couple of things that I don't really have to talk about for too long. I'll give you guys a chance to get your outros ready to go. I saw a couple articles which I can link in the chat. Actually, they wrote an esports article. Actually, Sports Illustrated did an article just about esports, how it grew. It was kind of weird. I came downstairs the other day, and my mom was like actually reading this 11-page article
Would you mind
that she found
linking
online.
It?
I'll link it in the chat. I'll link it in the Skype call for you.
Thank you.
There's the Skype one. Then here is the chat one. So that was one of the articles that I read. It was really interesting. Good read. Give it a chance if you guys want to. They talk about multiple amounts of other esports. It's a really good read. And honestly, if you would ever want to show your parent, which I know a lot of people have issues with, is like, my parents don't understand gaming. Feel free to share articles like this with them. I'm sure they know who Sports Illustrated is as well. So just something to show you guys. I saw that on there. Give it a read. It's a pretty good article. Really liked it. And they have a lot of good pictures. They explain a lot of other esports and how everything kind of started very well. So that's going to kind of do it. Does someone have a point? I saw Gully raise his finger.
No, well, that's definitely, you said that if you don't know how to explain gaming to your parents, give them websites like that. Give them news articles like that. Last year when I was trying to explain to my mother how I can run Codpedia and how I can do the STiKS and how I can do all that stuff, I sent her anytime that Optic was mentioned in a news article, I sent it. When Censor got interviewed, I sent it. Any League of Legends or Dota thing, I sent to her. Like when the international was going on in in Seattle, I just sent her all the stuff from ESPN. I just sent her it into an email. And your parents might not care about it. I understand that, but at least you make that effort and try to explain it to them, and then hopefully they'll at least understand it a little bit more. So
I got you. Yeah. So anything like that, if you ever see anything, if you ever see any articles, and there's been a lot of recent publishings by, there's just been a lot of information recently posted about esports in general. Feel free to show it to your parents, whether they are into it or not. Always share it with a friend. It'll do some good. So that's going to conclude this episode of the STiKS Live. At this point in the show, we're going to give our outros. Say whatever you want, 30 seconds or less. Like I said, shout out sponsors, whoever you want to. Someone in the chat, if you saw someone in the chat that you really liked, you want to shout them out, feel free to do so. So I'm gonna start off with goalie.
okay.
Then we're gonna go to Tommy, and then I will kind of close out the show as well. So
Okay.
goalie, if you'd ever be so kind to close it out, I appreciate it.
Okay, well, my name's Goalie, otherwise known as Matt. I run Codpedia, also do stuff here over at the STiKS. Shout out to you, Ron, because apparently you want me to show my
here we
luscious
go.
locks. These are going to be gone by the end of the week, probably. So this is for you, homie. There we go.
Nice. Very pretty.
that
I like
it?
your mullet.
That's it.
It's very nice.
It's not a mullet. It's just
I know.
long
I
hair.
wish it was-
Holy
I wish
crap,
it was
my
a
hair
mullet.
is long. Look at
Yeah.
that. I have a long neck too, so I've been growing this out since like
What, you
Did
been
it-
growing
since
your
like
neck out?
March or April.
Did anyone else watch
Long
that
time.
little dinosaur cartoon with the little it was called Long Neck? Did you guys ever watch that dinosaur cartoon thing?
Are you talking about
I have
Land
no
Before
idea what
Time?
you watch when you were a kid.
Yes.
There we go.
That's it.
Land Before
Yeah.
Time.
Made me think you said long neck. Made me think of that. So, there you go. Shout out
There
to
we
old
go.
cartoon.
I learned something today about American childhood. My name's been Tommy though, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Shout out to the YouTube watchers. You don't get as much credit as you deserve because by that point we're all gone doing our weekly business and whatnot. But yeah, we really appreciate your support because not only is it hard work for goalies to put on the YouTube, but it's even more hard work for you guys to watch it. And also, we're going to be working on getting the STiKS on iTunes so you can watch it out and about. What's something new as well. That hopefully, if I get my arse in gear, we'll have sorted coming into Black Ops 3. What is out on Friday? What's really awesome. So next week's episode, we'll be primarily talking about Black Ops 3, what you don't want to miss. And sadly, Landon may not be with us because he's taking a bit of a vacation, but I hope he has a fun time, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Actually, on that note, we're trying to get Hitch on the show next week. Tweet at him saying the STiKS wants you or Goalie wants you on the STiKS. Something to that.
Spam him.
Just spam him. Just spam him for no reason at all.
Hit him with the ad.
And also, put down below in the chat, because I don't think that's something we've done before. Who would you like to see on the STiKS? Like, obviously, within reason.
If you've made it to this far, yes.
Yeah. If you're in the YouTube comments, comment down below. If you're in the chat, let us know who you'd like to see who hasn't been on the STiKS for a very long time or hasn't been on before. Who would you like to see? Because we tailor the show a lot around what you guys want to see. So let us know.
Indeed. We have a lot of cool announcements to be showing you guys as far as sponsors. Obviously, trying to get ourselves on iTunes as well. A lot of cool stuff coming from the STiKS heading into Black Ops 3 as well. But guys, it's been your dude, your bro, your pal, your man, your ally on the internet. It's been Landon. Guys, thank you so much for coming out to the show today. I really do appreciate it. All the views that we got today, not just in general, but overall, really do appreciate all the support that we've gotten, especially recently. Like I said, a lot of announcements to come, and it's going to be a good year coming into Black Ops 3. A lot of amazing stuff, from the stuff that we talked about, and obviously from the Call of Duty World League, which is going to be a major portion of a lot of our growth. So guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the STiKS. We'll see you guys next week, Monday, and a lot of shows to come that we'll be announcing very shortly. So we'll see you guys all later. Have a fantastic day. Bye. That was the only way I really know how to say goodbye. So peace out.